The temperature was high for round 5 for the Champions of the Future Academy programme at the Lane Raceway, just on the Omani border. And in the senior category, time qualifying was incredibly close, but a brand new event record for this circuit in the Academy programme saw Kacper Rajpold on pole position.
Yeah, it's a great feeling. I think it was a quite good lap. For sure some mistakes, but yeah, it was quite good.
The qualifying heats, though, would be a different story. The young Red Bull junior driver Chiara Battig would fight her way to the front in qualifying heat 1, finishing ahead of Rajpold and Galan. Wojciech Woda, having a good race, would gain a fair few places and would head up into P4, just ahead of Ella Häkkinen. The second of those qualifying heats was a better story for Markas Silkunas. The current championship leader found himself back on the top spot after a very tough first qualifying heat. Oskar Galan and Chiara Battig would lock out the top 3 ahead of Ella Häkkinen and Kacper Rajpold, who would take those top 5. And that means going into the final, it would be Chiara Battig on pole position, 91 points to her name ahead of Oskar Galan, who would start alongside Markas Silkunas, Kacper Rajpold and Ella Häkkinen, ready to battle in the upcoming final. The front of the grid, it's Oskar Galan and Chiara Battig, because Chiara Battig has switched sides. It's lights out, fight down, and Jean Pascal's immediately switched to the inside. A big sideways moment there, and there's drama in the back of the field. 2 karts out of this final, just not the start of the race they would have wanted. Dust getting kicked up there. 2 drivers going very loose in that early stage. And my goodness me, the start of this senior final has been just that fraction bit dramatic. I think maybe Rayan Koreishi may have had a moment, and I think that moment is he's out of this race, because I can see another kart off the track walking away to the Marshall point out of the final turn. That's another driver getting squeezed off in the background and up and over the curb. That's the 255 that's trying to get back onto the circuit. That's a high runner. That's Diniiar Islamov, who started P10. I can see there's yellow flags out of the final corner. One of the drivers is out. Now he's in a spirit suit. It's the 262 that is out of the race. It's Islamov, unfortunately.
He tried to go 2 for the price of 1 for a move. And as we say moves, Markas Silkunas now has bit the bullet on Oskar Galan and has made himself your new race leader.
That's Gianna Pascal and Ella Häkkinen out of the race. The 2 young female drivers out of this final, and that is such a shame there. As that's Carolina Redondo out of the race. That's a big shame for her. Will we see the fireworks between Silkunas and Galan? That is the only question that remains in this one. And so far, well, I mean, we've already seen Galan go for the move so far on this one, Nicole. Could we see it again from him? I'm thinking yes. You're seeing the communication coming from Silkunas to say, come on, let's just keep going. For Markas Silkunas now, he's going to look for his 6th different final win here. What an incredible season this young man is having. And with this final win, will look to claim a title in 2025. Markas Silkunas wins in a lane. With the senior title getting ever closer to the end, Markas Silkunas takes that win in the senior final.
Yeah, I'm really happy with everything, how it's gone this race and also this season. Everything is really, really good, and the chassis and the setup is really nice. Also, I'm happy with this win as well.
But the weekend here in Lane is not over just yet. It's the second day of racing on Wednesday was ahead of the field. The second day of racing for the Champions of the Future Academy programme here at the Lane Raceway was certainly kick-started with a fabulous time qualifying, which saw Markas Silkunas taking pole position by a staggering 0.4 of a second.
The heat, I wouldn't say it gives a lot of thing that you have to manage, but the tires, you need to make them well for the last lap, because always here in this track, the best lap is the last lap, so you just have to make everything right for that.
But the rest of the field, the action all kicked off though in those first races, where Markas Silkunas was able to continue that winning streak, taking a P1 ahead of Rayan Koreishi and Diniiar Islamov, who rounded out the top 3. Kacper Rajpold had a fabulous race in the first race, gaining 7 positions and finishing in P4 ahead of Kacper Rajpold, who rounded out the top 5, not heralding the result after putting it on the front row of the grid. Heat 2, and it was a very similar story. Markas Silkunas coming away, but this time with a win of 2.3 seconds ahead of Wojciech Woda, had a much better run in the racing. Kacper Rajpold finishing 3rd ahead of Oskar Galan and Diniiar Islamov. For the drivers, there would be dramas though. Penalties going out, seeing Rayan Koreishi dropping to 10th place with an unfortunate post-race penalty. With all those results, it would mean going into the finals that Markas Silkunas would be back on pole position. We're joined by Kacper Rajpold on the front row of the grid, Diniiar Islamov and Rayan Koreishi, and Emilia Wismiska locking out the top 5. It's lights out, fights on in the OKN senior class down towards turn number 1. Is that Diniiar Islamov immediately going for the race lead on Markas Silkunas? The answer is no. Silkunas holds on to the lead, but Diniiar Islamov is there in 2nd place as Islamov is under investigation for potentially working on the grid. That is a no-no, and that is a disaster for the man who's just taken the lead of this race. But Markas Silkunas now has to push forward. But if that is working on the pre-grid, no matter how far he breaks away, it's not going to help his fight.
Change down the inside at turn number 13, and round the outside moments for some of our drivers, slotting into a nice and comfortable P3 is that Wojciech Woda, Ella Hakkinen and Chiara Battig, who just flashed up on the screen. Ella Hakkinen there in a P8 for now, up by 3 places to get comfortably inside of the top 10.
Keep the long run, but Silkunas is going to fight for this one for the lead down the inside on the dusty part. Wojciech Woda is going to get a 2 for 1 though. Beautiful stuff there for the driver from Poland, and now it's all starting to kick off for Rayan Koreishi there, who was also trying to get involved in that fight after setting the fastest lap of the race. And unfortunately, Dylan Patel, Pietro Camerlengo and Magana Lucia have all had a moment out there. They're going for no more moves as well as the latest retirement from this race. That is Noir, unfortunately, from Singapore, going no further.
Well, you know, you just spoke about Silkunas and Wojciech Woda championship-wide, almost there between the drivers further back in the field. That was Rajpold, Alekseeva.
Still quite a way to go in this race. You can see him tucking in. Certainly wants to keep involved, and he's going to look to the inside there at turn number 1. And we didn't expect that move to come so soon, but Silkunas is back through, and Woda down to 2nd place. Islamov managed to close in at that point, but is that Silkunas clear and dry already? Because he's already opened up nearly a 4/10 gap between himself and Woda already. And is this the reason why? Yeah, she's gone wide there at turn 13. So it's definitely not a transponder issue, and as quickly as one goes through, another one goes through, a 3rd goes through, and a 4th goes through. And now that is Hakkinen all the way down, actually now to 24th place on track. That's Ella Hakkinen going from bad to worse now in the gravel trap on the exit of turn number 9 there. Is another walking away. Out is Anastasia Gerasis.
You've got it to overtake me. Drama out there.
Rayan Koreishi.
2:48 of Koreishi, who looked like he was on for a strong one,
and
finds himself all over the gravel, and that's Islamov. The 2:55 of Islamov. So it goes from bad to worse for Islamov. They will tumble down, and here we go. Race lead changes, but Silkunas gets it back.
He does indeed. He fights his way through, but he's going to have to defend this one. It's a run to the line side by side. Who's going to take it? Is it going to be Woda? It's Wojciech Woda by 1/1000th of a second across the line. I don't think you know if he's won that yet, but that is a close as you like finish. Wojciech Woda wins the final by 1/1000th of a second, 0.001. With the racing done and dusted in a lane for the senior category, Wojciech Woda comes away with the final win after a staggering 1,000th of a second difference between himself and Markas Silkunas. After the early dramas with the massive crash, the fact that he was able to take a P1 is incredible.
I mean, to be honest, I was quite surprised because he left a little bit of gap there, and for me it was clear that I just have to go for it. And then obviously it was tight because he was still like here, so I had to leave some room on the last turn, but then he parked it in on the exit and yeah, got a better run. To be honest, I was not sure who won until we crossed the finish line, but anyway, to win from P9 is a great result, especially after the big crash yesterday. It's not bad.
The season now heads to the 6th and final round as the Champions of the Future Academy program heads to Alpha San.